I'm early today. The line goes live at midnight, our time, but my pager's been going off for the last 2 hours. I didn't even know I was issued a pager. But there it was in the bottom of my purse, cherry red with the Hex Line insignia, not beeping or ringing, just emitting a low and constant buzz. I'm not sure how it got in there, but the point is taken and I'm here. I've actually been working down here for a few weeks now, and with the help of Morris's manual, I've been able to navigate things to a degree of success. Calls are getting answered, and the basement archive, a dead storage labyrinth of decades-old case files, photos, and evidence, does a lot of the heavy lifting. The dispatch function, though, that and the status board are two pieces I'm still really struggling to connect the dots on. I haven't met or even seen any of the agents yet, but against the far wall there's this large panel with a grid of different symbols. Things like a crucifix, there's a suitcase, a flame, and I assume they belong to whoever's working out in the field. Each symbol has its own slot on the board, a heavy toggle switch, and then a pair of red and green bulbs. When a call does require a physical agent to be dispatched, the switches throw themselves. And out there in the dark, a hand is being sent to a glove. I just don't know whose. Last week, I discovered a door in the office I hadn't noticed before. The air feels a little thicker in that corner of the room, and a low warble sound can be heard when I press my ear against it. According to the manual, it's called Room B, and it houses the dictation machine. One we apparently don't use anymore. Not since it transcribed a call that hadn't happened yet. When I got in today, the pager's dull hum shifted into a frantic mechanical heartbeat. The closer I got to Room B, the faster and more frantic it became. Something about the machine in there sounds different today, too. It's not the usual low warbling sound, but a mechanical one. Like metal gears just spinning and dull, muffled voices repeating themselves as if they're on a loop. I don't know what it is, but it's getting louder.
Innocent, 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 innocent.
Oh my God. That's probably just Cait.
Sam, when did we get pagers?
It's after midnight. The veil is thin. I'm your host, Sam Halen, clocking in for the night shift on the Hex Line. Hello, you've reached the Hex Line, an after-hours paranormal dispatch line. Operators are standing by.
Hi, I'm calling because I saw something in Portsmouth, New Hampshire last March. Hey, cards on the table. I'd had a few at Daniel Street Tavern that night, but left around last call to meet my roommate near Ceres Street. Now, John Boy's a line cook down there and usually gives me rides home on Thursdays after work. Now, he was almost done, so I grabbed his keys to warm up the car. As I got close, I hit the unlock to find it in the dark. The headlights flickered and I saw someone in the distance just standing in the road. I was honestly too drunk to care, so I got in and started the car. And when I looked up, the guy was fucking standing 10 feet from the hood. I flashed the high beams to see him, but he disappeared. A few seconds later, the radio snapped on at full volume and started flipping through FM stations. Flip. I couldn't shut it off and was flipping every switch until a voice through the speakers began whispering innocent over and over. Now, next thing I remember, John Boy found me passed out in the back seat, and the car was cold to the touch, like it had never been running. Now look, I was trashed. I'm trash right now. But something not so fucking innocent was out there. My name is Danny. I found this number on a matchbox. Fuck, is this line even real?
As the deep chill of late winter set into New Hampshire's Smuttynose Island, Louis Wagner headed towards a small cottage standing alone against the dark sky. Through blankets of ice and snow, he watched as the lights in the windows dimmed one by one, swallowing the island whole in darkness. He waited until the last signs of life inside flickered out before climbing the slope, his boots cracking through frozen layers of snow like bones underfoot. The kitchen door welcomed him as he quietly stepped over the threshold. Once inside, he wedged a bedroom door shut, a silent trap. Louis had spent many nights in this cottage. He knew the layout and the habits of its occupants, or so he thought. The sound of a barking dog ripped the stillness apart. A woman sleeping in the kitchen on a bed crafted haphazardly out of blankets and pillows on the floor stirred, cozied in a place he did not expect anyone to be. Startled by the shadowy figure, Karen whispered, trembling, "John, is that you?" Before she received an answer, Louis surged forward, grabbing a chair and slamming it down with a brutal crack. The sound echoed through the narrow wooden hallways like a gunshot. Karen screamed as she stumbled back, clutching her head as blood ran through her fingers. Her sister Marin, now awake, threw herself at the jammed latch of the bedroom door, but Karen, staggering blindly, took a second forceful blow to the skull. The impact hurled her into the door, snapping the latch open and sending her directly into Marin's arms, where she collapsed. Louis followed. In a rabid frenzy, he swung another chair, this time fracturing the frame and sending the splinters across the floor. Marin pulled Karen inside and slammed the door closed, bracing it with her shaking body as Louis hurled himself against it from the other side. Each breath Marin took tasted of fear and sawdust. In the corner of the barricaded room, another woman stared, frozen and unable to comprehend the nightmare unfolding feet away. "Anethe, run!" Marin cried. The young woman scrambled through the window into the blinding cold, barefoot and dazed. Louis, having seen Anethe slip past the window outside, abandoned the sisters behind the bedroom door to pursue her. Through the window pane, Marin watched helplessly as Anethe's face caught the silver of the moonlight, her brow furrowed and confused. Anethe recognized him. As she cried out his name, she backed away, her voice cracking in a terrified plea. Louis seized an axe from the woodpile nearby, lifted it overhead, and brought it down over her skull with a sickening, hollow thud. Shaking violently, Anethe collapsed into the snow, but Louis struck again and again. Each blow was deliberate, as if he intended to erase every trace of her. Knowing Anethe was gone, Marin turned to her sister, Karen, still alive but fading fast. "Karen, we must go," Marin begged, but Karen, her voice barely a breath, murmured, "Too tired." As Marin desperately glanced around the room seeking aid or protection, Louis's footsteps returned. A slow, heavy tread carrying the weight of an axe. Marin wrapped herself in a skirt and climbed through the window of the blood-spattered snow as ice tore open her bare feet. She didn't care, she didn't stop. She was running for her life. Inside the cottage, Karen struggled toward the window, trying to escape as her sister had, but before she could climb through, Louis burst in, swinging the axe in a wide arc. The blade struck her, then smashed through the windowsill with such force that the wood splintered beneath the blade, separating it from its handle. Karen, now on her knees, was too weak to fight. Louis pressed a handkerchief around her throat and pulled, until she ceased to move, her body folding inward and going limp. As Marin ran around the cottage in a wide, trembling arc, she heard Karen's final screams, thin, desperate, and suddenly cut short. She hid between two jagged rocks at the water's edge, the roar of the surf drowning out the rest. When Lewis realized Marin had escaped, he tore across the island, chasing her bloody footprints. Unable to find her and running out of time before daylight, Lewis returned to the wet and blood-soaked cabin, stopping outside only to grab Anethe's body and drag her up the stairs and into the kitchen. Inside, he propped her up beside a clock that had fallen during the attack. The clock read 1:07 a.m., and like her, now left frozen of body and frozen in time. After ransacking the home and finding only $15, Lewis helped himself to dinner and a cup of tea. Then he fled into the remaining darkness. As the sun reached the horizon, Marin crawled from her hiding place and crossed the frozen breakwater, where she spotted children playing on the nearby shore of Appledore Island. She began to wave frantically, finally gaining their attention as their father jumped into action, rowing to her rescue. There was nothing she could do now but wait for her husband and his crew of men to return from their fishing trip. And once they arrived, they found Smuttynose silent and brutalized. And the 1873 murder would go on to make New England history. Louis Wagner was a 28-year-old Prussian fisherman who had worked alone across the 9 rocky islands known as the Isle of Shoals. Wagner was described by many as a handsome but unsettling stranger in town who spent time in the most unsavory parts of Portsmouth, the bustling city above the mainland docks. He spoke little of his past and often seemed to lurk at the edges of conversations. Despite this, John and Maren Honvet, Norwegian immigrants who settled on Smuttynose Island, befriended Wagner after growing accustomed to seeing him fishing around the island. John, who owned a successful fishing business in the area, saw both need and familiarity in Louis Wagner and decided to hire him. Maren and John welcomed him into their home and grew accustomed to his mysterious nature as he drifted in and out like the ebbing tide. This was simply in Maren's nature, a collector of wayward souls. She soon invited her sister, Karen Christensen, to stay in 1871 after the death of her husband. And as John's success grew, so did the Honvet household. Maren once again opened her home to John's brother Matthew, her own brother Ivan, and Ivan's beautiful young bride, Anethe. With 5 adults under one roof, Wagner's mysterious presence drifted through the cottage like a shadow, working for John when needed and disappearing otherwise. Lucky as he was for the opportunity, Wagner remained constantly desperate for income. On the afternoon of March 5, 1873, Wagner was lingering on the Portsmouth docks when John, Ivan, and Matthew arrived with their day's catch. Not realizing the extent of Wagner's desperation, John unwittingly disclosed that he had saved $600 for a new boat. Wagner stewed, as a late train from Boston delayed the arrival of bait, forcing the 3 men to remain in the port until midnight. Sensing an opportunity, Wagner asked John not once but 3 times whether the women would be alone on Smuttynose Island that night. Then, as the men were stranded and night settled over the harbor, Wagner quietly slipped away, stealing a small boat called the Clarabella. He pushed off into the black water towards Smuttynose, where he caught the powerful Piscataqua River tide. Under the veil of night, Wagner rowed upwards of 10 miles to Smuttynose Island, intent on committing robbery. That money John had mentioned was 3 times a fisherman's annual income in 1873, and he knew it would be hidden away at the cottage. Louis was no stranger to the home or the family members he'd find inside. He knew their routines well, and it seemed like an easy job. If fortune favored him, he could slip into the Honvet home, take whatever he could carry, and return unnoticed before dawn. He expected the women to be cozy in their rooms, so it would be the perfect crime. Louis rowed steadily ahead. Meanwhile, on Smuttynose, as Louis suspected, The women had retired to bed. But what Lewis could not have anticipated, though, was that Karen had quarreled with her boss that day and had been fired. She was distraught and seeking the warmth of the stove, so Karen fashioned a small nest near the stove in the kitchen. His plan was only going to work if he had been able to slip in and out of the home unnoticed. Stumbling into the kitchen and waking Karen would prove to be the moment that changed everybody's lives. That morning, John and the rest of the men had finished their fishing excursion, and they arrived upon a seemingly empty Smuttynose. Confused, they made their way towards Appledore, the neighboring island, where they stumbled upon a traumatized, frostbitten, and blood-covered Marin. Ivan demanded to know where Anethe was. "She's still at home," Marin said, her voice soft and shaky. The men raced back to Smuttynose, tore up the road to the cottage where Ivan discovered Anethe's body. Overcome with grief, it was said he collapsed into the snow. After surveying the devastated home, John sailed to Appledore to alert authorities, and by afternoon, Marin's account of the attack reached Portsmouth. Police circulated Lewis's description, and witness reports poured in quickly, some claiming to have seen him boarding a train early that morning. And they were right. Lewis Wagner, supposedly covered in fish guts, or so he would claim, boarded a train that morning south to Boston. Once there, he sought a barber for a haircut and shaved off his beard. Next, he changed into a set of used clothing, bought new boots, and began wandering the streets, his shopping spree totaling about $15, the exact amount claimed to be missing from the Honvett home. Curious, as Lewis did not have a dime to pay his rent the day before. His next stop was a boarding house where he had once lived and begged the owner for meals. He was dozing off by the warm and familiar kitchen stove by the time word of the crime had reached Boston and the owner of the boarding house, who quietly notified the police. By the time Lewis finished his dinner, Boston police had him in custody and sent him right back to Portsmouth. Lewis Wagner was a household name by the following day. Hundreds of New Hampshire citizens, including women and children, crowded the jailhouse to see the accused, and many were surprised to find him a gentle and attractive young man who seemed to enjoy the attention. Portsmouth newspapers quickly debated his guilt, while Lewis offered his own version. He had a detailed alibi. He claimed he had drunk excessively on the night before, causing him to fall in the streets where a friend assisted him before he returned to a boarding house. He denied ever disposing of a bloody shirt, and he denied all forensic evidence on the stolen boat. Throughout the trial, Lewis maintained his innocence, often weeping openly in a way that shocked Victorian audiences, who were unfamiliar with such emotional displays from men. Even observers like famed poet Celia Thaxter noted his performance inspired doubt about his guilt. Wagner insisted he had no motive to harm the Honvents or their family members, and claimed he could have stolen their money without murdering them. Despite his emotional appeals, the evidence was overwhelming. Witnesses had placed him on the road that morning after the murders and on the southbound train to Boston. Taken together with the bloody clothing, the stolen boat, and Marin's testimony of the night itself, the facts built a damning case. His lawyers were facing a difficult set of facts and glaring evidence. After 55 minutes of deliberation, the 12 jurors returned a guilty verdict. At sentencing, Lewis Wagner learned the high cost of his crimes: his own life. He had been sentenced to death by hanging. After his trial, Lewis was dragged back to Maine and locked in Alfred Prison to await his inevitable fate. But his mind was fixed solely on escape, and he acted quickly. He did manage to break out of Alfred, but he was captured 3 days later and transferred to Thomaston Prison, the notoriously cruel institution that later inspired Stephen King's Shawshank Redemption. Realizing he would never outrun his destiny, Lewis eventually converted to Christianity and proclaimed that God would protect him. After 2 years behind bars in June of 1875, Louis Wagner and a fellow axe murderer, John Shrew Gordon, were both led to the bleak gallows at the Maine State Prison to meet their ends. The structure loomed above them like a weather-worn monument to judgment, its dark beams cracking in the northern wind. Wagner cast a final, pitying look at the man beside him and murmured, "Good and poor John, we're gone."
Hey Danny, here's the deal. Daniel Street Tavern will absolutely put a ghost in your story if you stay long enough, so no judgment there. Your sighting, though, near Ceres Street, that kind of caught my attention for a specific reason. The date. March 6th. Are you familiar with the Smuttynose axe murders? Because March 6th is the anniversary of the killings. According to local legend, Louis Wagner, the man allegedly responsible, is said to revisit Ceres Street every single year. And many believe that if you are unlucky enough, or apparently drunk enough, you might catch him looking for someone to plead his innocence to. As mysteriously as you found us here at Hex Line, Louis found you, it seems. Our assessment in this case is simple. It was just right place, right time, and only one thing is for certain. Something not so fucking innocent was out there, so maybe you sit the next March 6th out.
Hex Line is now closed. Please hold for casual hex.
Hello and welcome to Casual Hex, the live discussion segment that delivers you right back into reality. I'm your host, Sam Halen, joined again by special guest Cait Hurley. No need for a preamble, we've been here before. But I do want to offer a small disclaimer about the audio in the next segment. Casual Hex was recorded around March or April of 2026, and during that time I had a brand new puppy, a mini Aussie named Cricket. So, if you hear some barking in the background, some slight atmospheric screeching, that's my dog, and I apologize. We didn't realize that that was so audible while recording. So thanks for bearing with me. I think this is the last episode with some of the early audio faux pas, including the curse of the fucking creakiest chair of all goddamn time. But baby, it's all uphill from here.
This case is honestly really brutal and really devastating, but I'm curious in general. You know what? It kind of reminds me in a way of Northern New England's Lizzie Borden case, because similar time period, and then there was the really dramatic public trial.
Some axe play.
Actually, I think this one, they believe it was, with Lizzie Borden, they actually never confirmed if it was an axe or not.
They just said the damage could have been done by an axe.
I recall somebody coming to the house when I worked there and saying that it was most likely a fire poker.
I have heard that before. The weapon would have needed to be heavier.
Exactly. The scoopy part of an old fireplace set.
Well, so that would just be a shovel.
Yeah, basically like a small axe-like shovel. You could bash a skull in.
Yeah, but like when Andrew's face was split.
I don't know if you're strong enough. But anyway, this kind of reminded me of that. There is a little bit of conspiracy and controversy around it. And the way that the murderer, or alleged, he was hanged for this crime. And it is, before anybody comes at me, people have come at me on TikTok for saying hanged. The proper term when somebody is executed by hanging is that they were hanged. Google it. Google is free. Anyway, even though he was obviously convicted and hanged, there was a lot of comments I saw about him being like a handsome, mysterious, charming. People were falling in love with him and writing him letters.
I don't know. I've seen a picture of this guy and absolutely no. And he was like a weird nerd, like loser, strange guy.
With a mustache.
Ew, I'm sorry, mustaches
You
are
just described my type, a weird loser with a mustache. Before I was married, that's my type. I think it's funny because it shows like, people are like, how could these women have been writing love letters to Ted Bundy in prison? It's like, we've always been doing this actually.
Same shit with every other serial killer.
Like, do I condone that? No, but people are people and they're going to people. But I did kind of want to touch upon the alternative theories about this case.
Touch upon them.
So one of the biggest conspiracies, and again, this is something where I feel like it's kind of a gray area where it's a little problematic, but people claim that maybe Marin, I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce it. I'm assuming it's Marin if her sister's Karen, because then it would be like Marin and Karen. And it makes more sense to be Marin and Karen. And I know people named Marin, but I don't know people named Marin. Anyway, because I've heard these names pronounced both ways. But Marin being the only survivor.
Thank you for that dissertation on pronunciation and enunciation.
Yeah, and then, I was pronouncing the other victim, Anethe. That's how I YouTubed it. But then I also Googled it and people said it could be pronounced other ways. It's like
Who cares? Who cares? You did your best. We looked it up.
I know. Marin, New England. I'm just going to say Marin. Marin being the sole survivor, people have created this conspiracy where she was in on it with Wagner, and maybe they were secret lovers and she told him where to find the cash in the house. But what threw them off was the other woman sleeping in the kitchen. She wasn't supposed to be there that night, but she got fired from her hotel job.
Right.
And that just threw the whole conspiracy off. And that's why she's the only one who survived.
I can't help but wonder what she had to gain from her entire family. I mean, the conspiracy wasn't that they were all meant to be killed, right?
Well, no, the conspiracy was
to steal the money.
It was going to steal the money.
Right. Yeah,
or possibly they were going to run away together, no, because if they knew the husbands were out fishing, then there was no conspiracy to kill the husbands.
Also, if they were really in love, at some point you'd hope that he would see a future with this person and be like, maybe I don't murder their entire family. And I just get caught and I explained that Marin was in on it and I'm off the hook.
That's what he said. So he blamed her the entire time and claimed he was innocent and said that she actually
Wait, so what's the conspiracy?
The conspiracy is that she was in on it.
Oh, so like what he claimed in court. That's the conspiracy.
Well, that's actually true because supposedly she had a deathbed confession, but there's no evidence.
So not so much a conspiracy as it is just his side of the story.
Yeah, his alibi or whatever. Not alibi, what's the word?
Just be his...
Like his story.
His testimony.
His testimony. That's the word I was looking for. The other theory is that... So there was a famous poet who was involved in this case. She'd written about it. Celia Thaxter. And so... This theory is that it was actually her son, and her son was said to, what I looked up showed that he had been injured or something as a young child, so he had some mental issues. Mm-hmm. And there was only one documented instance of him being violent in any way, and it was after he was being bullied, and he just said something about, oh, do you want to end up dead? Which in my mind, okay, you guys are bullying a child who is disabled, and he's standing up for himself. That doesn't mean he grew up to be a killer.
Yeah,
But that's kind of where that came from, and they were thinking, oh, actually, no, it was him. And I think that theory's complete bullshit.
Also,
why
not
would he
for
ever do
nothing,
that?
but let's just pretend that a child did it. I don't
He
know
was
what
21 at the time.
But I don't know what his mindset was, what age he was mentally. I'm thinking because they said disabled, obviously back then they wouldn't have really used, I know obviously they would use different terms than what we would use now, but they didn't really acknowledge any kind of mental disability.
Was he actually disabled, or was he just, like a little bit different?
In which case they would just say he's haunted or something. They wouldn't actually be like, yeah, he's like mentally disabled. That was nothing. So that's why I'm questioning it.
Well, what are the old like Irish sayings? My grandma said they're just like, oh, she's got the fear.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh no, like I have chronic generalized anxiety. You just got the fear. What else? Oh, or like there's another saying. It's like, away with the fairies. Like my ADHD, like growing up, my other grandparent was trying to convince my parents to get me an autism or ADHD diagnosis. And my grandma's like, she's just away with the fairies.
And you still are.
I've been away with the fairies.
Yeah, I've never come back.
So we don't really know what's going on with this kid. So also at the same time, it feels like a cheap cop-out for like a conspiracy. Oh, it must have been the one person on the island of like 5 people who's different. He must be the killer.
Yeah.
It's a cop-out. It's lazy. Like, honestly, it's like lazy.
There's so much evidence to support that.
No, there's literally
Wagner did.
All the evidence shows that he did it.
That's a bad guy.
Maybe Maren could have been in on it, but I highly doubt that.
But also, if she loved him, why would she not she never made a plan with Wagner to murder her family.
Yeah.
So I don't know why she wouldn't admit to having been in on it. There's nothing... She's not liable for anything by saying, yeah, you know what? We both we're in love. We wanted the $60 and the rest I didn't consent to.
It was $800 back, or something like that, which is like thousands now.
However much it was, I don't know. I don't know why if she loved this guy, which I think would have been probably more likely than not. Otherwise, why were they even conspiring in the first place? Like there was some kind of relationship there.
Yeah.
Why would she not just out with that?
Because then she would be held liable, I think, and then she could be.
You can't be held. I mean,
back then,
no, but even though like the law back then, it really, she wouldn't have been liable for the murder. There's no mens rea there. She didn't intend to have them murdered. She conspired with Wagner to do a robbery, a burglary, actually.
Yeah, like what would those charges be then?
It would probably be burglary, entering a domicile of another at night with intent to rob or steal.
But
well,
would it just be like conspiracy to
she
murder?
Can't get in trouble for doing the burglary. She didn't commit the burglary, but she did conspire with Wagner to commit the crime.
Yeah.
So it could be conspiracy to commit burglary and then, or it could have been accessory to.
Oh yeah,
and
accessory, that's the word.
He obviously committed the burglary, but then he also went a step further and committed a murder. So she wouldn't be liable for the murder because
multiple murders.
Well, right. I don't know what the felony laws would be back then, but I know that sometimes if you conspire to do a crime and then you commit another crime after that, it becomes a felony plus, and then you can actually, as a co-conspirator, be charged with any deaths that may have occurred. Felony murder. It's murder during the commission of a felony.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. This poor woman was brutally traumatized. And then people are like, she was in on it. I think that's shitty. I don't think there's any evidence behind that. So there was a movie/book about this case called The Weight of Water, and it's supposedly a found journal written by Maren, and it basically implicates her as responsible for the murders. So it was kind of like a controversial thing.
I thought it was related to the source material, like the person that wrote the source material.
They took
some liberties or something.
They made up a fake diary. They were like, "Oh yes,
not great. It's a million little pieces all over again." That's crazy to make up a diary about a murder and be like, this is a found journal of her life.
And now I'm going to make a lot of money off of it.
Oh, her whole family was slaughtered, but she did it, guys.
But it's like the Lizzie Borden stuff.
Yep.
Yeah,
man, women in history really just get fucking rolled over time and time again.
I had heard of these murders before, but I hadn't really known any details until I dove into it for this case. Had you heard of it before? You're from up north in that mysterious area. What's it called? Maine?
You think I'm from Maine?
You look like you're from Maine.
Girl, take it the fuck back.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're from New Hampshire.
I am from Mass and New Hampshire. I'm going to say something. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all, Samantha. So I will not say it at all. I look like I'm from Maine.
I'm just kidding.
I'm going to fight her. I'm going to fucking fight her.
I feel like women...
Get her, Cricket. Get her.
I feel like women from Maine are physically strong.
This is not the compliment you think, and no, it is not.
You look like a horse girl.
I don't look like I'm from Maine.
You're not from Portland, Maine?
No.
I was gonna say you don't have a polycule. That's very me coded, actually. I'm like, that's crazy. As I go to my co-op wearing Blundstones, and I just got a farm internship. Bitch, I look like I'm from Maine.
Agreed.
Whatever. Look at this.
So that guy did it.
He definitely did it.
There's no question about
One
it.
of the other reasons why people think he didn't do it is because they're like, he couldn't have been physically strong enough to row a boat back and forth from the island that fast in that amount of time. And I'm like, you know what I have to say to that? Don't underestimate the power of a mustache.
For
Sorry.
fuck's sake.
I'm not trying to glamorize a killer.
You're not glamorizing it, I promise you.
I'm like, I'm really selling him. He sounds cool.
I don't know.
Mustache, can row a boat really fast.
It's not like they saw him.
Was brooding
It's
all
not like
the
they
time.
saw when he left or when he returned. So
No, the men saw him leave, I'm pretty sure. Or like he stole the boat. He had to have stolen the boat at a
not for
certain
nothing,
time.
but if they saw him steal the boat, do you not think they would have then followed him?
Oh, no, you're right. Sorry, they didn't see him. My brain cells are turned off.
That's fine. So are his, obviously.
Cricket has one brain cell.
Man.
Cricket and Daphne share a brain cell, and it's Daphne's turn to have it right now.
I like that you call her Daphne.
It's not Daphne?
No.
What is it?
It's Daffy. Her name's Tiny Dinky Daffy from I Think You Should Leave.
Oh.
It's from the Baby of the Year
Oh my God.
skit.
Tiny
Pancaked by a
Dinky
drunk dump
Daffy.
truck driver.
You should have named this dog Nude Egg.
I wanted to name him Scott Evil. Rigor Mortis.
That's so good.
There's a lot of jokes that we kept making about funny names. I can't even remember any of them now.
We settled on Cricket.
Yeah. Rickety Cricket.
Ricky.
boy.
I am intrigued by the movie because it has good actors and it has Sean Penn and Elizabeth Hurley.
I'm not that intrigued, but I could be bought.
I think I'm just biased because I have the same last name. Newly.
Gotta
I'm
do
like,
better than
Elizabeth
that.
Hurley.
Gotta have higher standards than that. I was going to say that I find it interesting that I am from New Hampshire. I was born in Massachusetts. I lived in Mass and New Hampshire, but I didn't even know the Smutty story at all. I've spent so much time in Portsmouth and I feel like this has just passed me. But have you been to Portsmouth?
Yeah, I love Portsmouth.
Me too.
Wasn't it crazy that he was executed at the prison that inspired Shawshank?
I've never seen that movie.
I've never seen any movies, and
It's definitely one of the more famous redemptions.
no. So, fun fact about me:
This was a joke and we get nothing.
because I've never seen any movies. We had no movies in my house growing up, except we had Braveheart,
But
Borat, and Superbad. I just remember my dad would be training because he does ultra marathons and Ironmans. My dad's watching Braveheart and Shawshank Redemption over and over again while he rides 100 miles in my basement.
Yeah, my dad used to just bawl his eyes out to Braveheart because
Oh my God.
my family, so we're Scottish and Irish on my dad's side, but my family name, my surname, Spence, comes from Clan MacDuff, who were dispensers of things, and according to History Times...
Oh my God, you guys invented the dispensary? You invented the drive-through dispensary?
Yeah. Now, my family were apparently given the honor of walking the king down the aisle, like the king that is portrayed in Braveheart.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And honestly, if anyone wants to fact check me, please do, because even I would like all of the facts.
You're like, yeah, someone else sign up for an Ancestry.com account for me and prove me wrong. 'Cause
Someone else spend $4 million.
you can do a free trial.
I've done so many free trials. They're not going to give me they know me.
They're like, Sam, get out of here.
I have that and newspaper.com and every single resource I have.
Newspaper.com.
It's one of the best ones.
So unrelated, but I love old websites that are just like thething.com because one time also my parents are, I don't know if my mom.
We're
listens to this.
rotten.com.
Okay. So there was a website called boobs.com and
That's like every kid getting to a computer being like, the internet. How do I use it? I don't know. Let's look up boobs.
Boobs.com.
www.boobs.com.
Someone in my household looked up boobs.com and instead of asking my 12-year-old brother if he looked up boobs.com with his friends, they asked me if I looked up boobs.com.
My Uncle Daryl, hello, did the same shit. He found porn on my family computer and told the whole family it was me.
Why?
And I was like, why would you think it was me? And to this day, I'm still mad because it was not me.
I'm like, first of all, I have my Sims for that.
Yeah, first of all, I'm 12. Hi, I'm still playing like emo game on desktop.
Do you want to know what I
and
was doing when I was 12?
putting together those little like Bratz, whatever preceded Bratz dolls. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Do you
Like
want
the
to know?
Angel Fire
Oh my God.
dolls.
I was literally making up tap dances for Jesus when I was 12.
We had very different lives.
Different lives. I was like, do you want to see my tap dance about Jesus? Speak. Good boy. Okay, back to Smuttynose. I mean, also, I think the conspiracies are kind of silly because it feels like,
I'd argue the first one's not a conspiracy. It's his.
I mean, it's like his side of the story, blaming somebody else. But I just feel like him being not guilty doesn't even make sense because there was such a clear motive. Like, he needed money. He never had money. He found out that there was an extremely large amount of money being stored at the house. He was told directly that, hey, we have this money saved because we're going to buy a new boat. And he's like, oh, you do? Crazy. You know what I mean? Like, there's no doubt in my mind.
He had everything to gain. I just think the violence is crazy and kind of comes out of nowhere.
Yes, it seems very panicked, and that I really think he just intended on robbing the house.
I mean, I have to wonder what caused that trigger because he knew them.
Because someone was sleeping in the kitchen.
He could have been like, I am cold and I fell asleep on the island and can I stay here tonight? He could have lied.
Yeah, no, I think it's like he tried to break in. And then Karen normally would not be there. She would normally be at the hotel or somewhere else. And it seems like he like opened the door and like hit her cot with the door or something like that.
Just surprise. It was just a surprise. But I think in that moment he should have lied.
I know, but normally you're not like, let me kill you with an axe now.
Right.
I'm trying to find the, it was $600.
Yeah. I remember you, it's in the story.
Yeah, what is that in today's money? $20,000. That's a humongous. People today would kill for $20,000. 20 grand would change my life.
What would you do with 20 grand?
Pay off my car.
No, I mean like if you.
Oh.
Okay, I mean yeah, that's not a bad answer.
What would I
but
do
if you had
for 20 grand?
No, I would never ask you that. Do not want to know.
I don't want to say it because
I don't want to know what you would do for $500.
I don't want to know what I would do for $500.
If you were given 20 grand tomorrow, no strings attached. Would you just use it wisely? You wouldn't. How about if you didn't have to spend it on bills, on
like if it was just
rent,
fun, 20 grand for fun?
Yes,
motorcycle.
If I had $20,000, I don't know. That's so much money. I'd redo my bathroom. I'd redo rooms in my house.
Honestly,
I'm doing like a kitschy Cove Haven.
Oh yeah, if I had
retro red bathroom, and I would love to have that done.
All right, we're manifesting 20 grand each because Mama needs a house and a laptop and a motorcycle.
She does not have her priorities in order.
I like how my first thing I was like motorcycle. Literally, my grandma calls me and because I got my motorcycle license 2 weeks ago, and she checks in. Did you get a motorcycle yet? And then I say no.
Because your whole family is as terrified as I am of the idea of you on the road on a motorcycle.
I drive
like, ooh, what's that?
Shift.
Ooh, what's that? Ooh, what's that?
No, I'm a good driver. I drive a stick shift.
Everyone says, I'm a good driver.
I scored top in my class for my motorcycle exam.
I was the top girl.
I am the top girl at the motorcycle school.
Listen, it doesn't quell my fears.
No, I know. But I'm a responsible rider, as responsible as you could be.
How would you liken your rider responsibility to another responsibility in your life? Like you're as responsible when you drive as you are at blank.
My jobs.
Which job?
Okay, take care of children for a living. You have to be responsible. I exist in this duality of I lock in so hard. I'm really responsible with driving, and I'm responsible at work, and I'm like over the top cautious.
Depending on the day?
Depending on the day.
Yeah.
But then it's like my brain is so tired from I can only do type A adjacent things for so long.
No, I get it. I'm completely I'm type A and I'm type AB.
Yeah. I'm mostly type B. Like I've eaten a silica gel packet by accident, and everybody reminds me because I posted about it.
Why would you tell anybody? You couldn't give me. Well, you could give me money to tell someone, depending on how much, but like
because I was scared.
You're a chronic oversharer.
I know. I was scared, so I posted like, "Has anyone else ever eaten a gel?"
Girl, Google it privately. Don't put it out there like that.
I called police and control eventually. No, but I was.
So you were like, you know what? Hang on. First, let me just hop on Facebook or Instagram and be like, has anyone ever? And then I'm gonna pop over.
It comes up in my memories, and now I repost it every year.
And your second thought was maybe then I'll try poison control.
Yeah, and then so I almost ate a silica packet yesterday. I thought I ate it, and I was like, again.
This hit and other singles from the person that gave you. I take care of kids for a living.
I just ate a gel packet.
I'm a cautious driver. I ate a gel packet once, and I almost did it again yesterday.
Yeah.
Gold record. It went platinum.
The duality of women. What else have I done that's like really stupid? I've gotten a lot of weird rashes.
Does the internet really need to know?
But am I boring?
Definitely not. I would,
Exactly.
if you're nothing, I would never describe you as boring. That's the last thing I would describe you as.
I know. I'm so cautious. And then there's like a video of me barefoot in a dress on a motorcycle, standing on the back of the motorcycle, eating a hot dog.
I don't know. I wouldn't consider that boring. Maybe stupid,
No, but that's not cautious.
boring.
I'm saying I'm not cautious. I like how literally today, like I was going to an appointment. I'm like, oh, I'm like nervous to like do an aesthetic treatment. But then I'm like on doing all this other crazy shit. I get a panic attack driving on the highway. But then I'm like, I'm just going to eat the silica gel packet and I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah,
And it turns out it's fine, actually. You can eat them. It's fine. It's
Everyone,
not bad for you.
don't listen to her advice.
It's not bad for you.
but it's not good for you.
Silica is actually good for you. It makes your hair grow.
Okay, silica packets in that format are not good for you.
Like you can crack it open and swallow them.
it's not
just,
like that.
sprinkling. No, but
It's not food. How about this? It's if you want to have food grade silica, go ahead and eat it. You can look up the benefits, whether they exist or not. I can't speak to it. Probably not the ones you get in like the bottom of a new bag or.
yeah, but the only problem if you eat a silica gel packet is it could get like stuck. It could become a bowel
The
obstruction.
only problem.
Yeah, like it's not poisonous.
I don't know. I don't know enough about it. Why does it say do not eat on the bag?
Because you could choke on it or it could get stuck in your bowels.
I feel like of all the things,
Me and my dog are so similar, actually.
does your dog also enjoy silica packets?
No, but she eats a lot of trash. She pooped out a rubber band earlier.
Have you also once pooped out a rubber band?
No, but I've pooped out a gel packet.
Well, at least it stayed intact.
Yeah, it was impressive. I have a photo. Do you want to see it?
Kinda.
Okay. Anyway, people were murdered. This is fucked up.
Silica packets were shit out. Intact.
People were murdered over 100 years ago, and it's okay to eat a silica gel packet as a treat.
It is not. And
Don't listen to Sam.
I feel like
What would you do for 20 grand?
not eat a silica packet.
What would you do? I would eat a silica packet for free. I've already done it.
You almost did it yesterday.
Exactly. It's like that would be my Fear Factor challenge. I'd win.
That would be okay. Did you watch the new season of Fear Factor?
No, but I was in a movie with Joe Rogan.
No, Joe Rogan's not the host.
Oh.
Johnny Knoxville's the host.
What? I
Which
love
is why
him.
he's my number one crush.
Okay, I'll
and
watch
so
it.
I saw it was
Do they
happening
eat
and I was like,
bugs still?
oh, they do it all. It's disgusting.
Yeah, I used to play Fear Factor at recess, and I would make people stand around me while I ate bugs.
Yeah, I think eating a silica packet is like a actual treat compared to what they did this season.
Maybe I have maybe I have like pica or pica or whatever.
Pica.
Now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I've eaten a lot of weird things.
Do you have like a weird craving for textures or do you like weird textured food?
With the skin on it.
That's not that weird. I think a lot of people do that.
I got banned from my office. People were like, you can't do that in here. Like, they're like, take it
I'm
outside.
sorry, what?
People were acting like I was like ripping butts inside.
It's not like you're eating an onion.
I've done that.
That's gross, but it's not. It's eating a kiwi is not as gross as eating an onion.
I used to bring a bunch of hard-boiled eggs in my pockets to work, and then I would make people put their hands in my pockets, and I'd say, guess what's in my pocket?
You're like a fucking bridge troll. Put your hand in my pocket and riddle me these.
I'm like, yes, what's
answer
in my
me these
pockets?
3 riddles.
I'm like, maybe I'll give you a bite.
Gotta pay the troll toll.
You know what Gino actually said to me? He was like, you look like you would eat a hard-boiled egg with the shell on.
Totally.
Whatever, he married me, so.
You look like you're from like Maine, maybe.
People from Maine eat them. I'm kind of like a bridge troll, and you're just like a responsible human being.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. I just don't make loud mistakes. If I do something stupid, I don't broadcast it.
I live for the bit.
And hey, listen, I love the entertainment. I have nothing against that. I live quietly.
Oh, you know what's a fun game I like to play at work with the small children is I make up what their jobs would be if they were like in child labor era. So like I assign them little jobs. I'm like, that kid's definitely a newsie. Like that kid definitely died in a coal mine. That kid's got like nimble hands, so they definitely work in the little like waistcoat factory.
Mm-hmm.
What would your Victorian-era job be? You'd be the hook person at the vaudeville who'd like pull. I'm the one on stage being like, "Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling," and you're pulling me off with a hook.
I would do that for sport. First of all,
That's what you're emotionally.
No.
You're
You know what my
emotionally
job
pulling
would
me
be?
with a hook right now.
You know what my job would be if I were a little kid in
What?
that period of time.
In Maine.
In Maine. I would be the kind of go between like some mobster, some like Peaky
Yeah.
Blinders-esque character.
You'd be like, hey, mister.
Or I'd be like the little spy, and then I would
Yeah,
go
so
back
you're
to
a
the
little
Peaky
rat.
Blinders and just be like, this is what's happening, because I would play the field because I'm smart. You kind of play it with everyone. And then you're a kid being like, I have no investment in any of these boring adult problems. So whoever is going to pay me, I'll do that dirty work.
You're like a little pickpocket.
I'm like an early capitalist. That's what I'd be, like a little capitalist.
Little pickpocket.
You know? No, pickpocket, that's
You'd
too up close
pickpocket
and
on the
personal.
side, though. You would pickpocket on the side.
No, it's too up close and personal. It's too obvious, too easy to get caught. And to have, like,
you might
would,
manage a couple pickpocketers, though, and you'd take a couple.
100%.
You'd take a couple bucks off the top.
Correct.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I would be like.
I wouldn't do it. Like a Manson type character. Like I wouldn't do it myself.
Yes.
I would just convince my followers to do it.
I would literally just like be in a freak show. They'd be like, watch this girl eat random trash.
Buckets.
Oh my God. And then I would do a little tap dance and sing a little song, and they'd be like, wow.
Yeah, you'd be like the child wonder, like the Shirley Temple of poor
100%.
poor Maine, early New England era.
I like how we're both from Maine and we have child labor jobs
we
now.
both look like Mainers, and now we're just like little pickpockets.
At the end of the day, what I learned from studying this case and, everything surrounding it, you really can't trust a medium ugly man with a mustache.
Hex Line was created, written, mixed, and produced by me, Sam Halen. Original music and mastering by Bill Shaner. The story of the Smuttynose axe murders was written and researched by Cait Hurley. Our cast includes me as alternate reality Sam, Cait Hurley as alternate reality Cait, Kevin Darbrow as the genius voice behind Morris Miller, and Tom King, who you heard as the voice of Danny in the call at the top of our show. If you have a story you want featured on the podcast, email me at hexlinepodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram at Hexline Podcast for visual episode companions and announcements. And be sure to follow, rate, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.